Yes.
So I was meditating this morning, and it was a tough one because there was was not quiet.
Yeah.
and then later I just noticed the one that was complaining, that was not quiet, was the one that I was trying to let go.
Mm-hmm.
That's the person that was complaining. So I guess ultimately I can say that's just what was happening at that time.
Right.
For some reason needed to, not because naturally pleasant experiences are more pleasant.
Pleasant experiences are more pleasant than unpleasant experiences.
But in reality, they all need to be, they all need to be let go.
Right.
Pleasant or unpleasant, they're still experience.
Yes.
It's not about experience.
It's not about experience. It's not to somehow twist things around that your life becomes more and more pleasant. Incidentally, if you create less trouble in your mind, then the life becomes more joyous because your inner joyousness has more a chance to come to the surface and express itself. But if you try to meditate, as you said this morning, and try to keep quiet, and you cannot keep quiet, don't think that time was wasted. If we try to keep quiet and we cannot keep quiet, there is no other situation in which we become so acutely aware how our mind is working. What we are seeing most of the time is not so pleasant. when you really honestly look what's going on there. But
crazy stuff.
But that very feeling that comes then, that yak, is that thing that helps you to detach from that. And then, of course, we can get attached, and the person says, "Oh, it's so terrible," and start a story about that. Or you can just accept, okay, that's how it was this morning, and draw whatever benefit and whatever you are learning from it that you can. Sitting and crossing your legs and closing your eyes doesn't mean that you should now be in a pleasant state all the time. It means to look deeper, and if there is stuff coming to the surface, so much the better.
Because pleasant state is still a state, and that's something that I like maybe continue with this question is like, at what point do I let go of experiencing? You know?
I mean, experiences will come, but you can learn not to be obsessed with the experience. It's not that you have to somehow push yourself into a spiritual experience.
Yes.
Experiences may come on the way. Let them come, accept them happily, and let them go as they go. And then don't think, what did I do exactly that this happened, and then I can reproduce it again. It doesn't work. Use it more with the attitude, okay, thank you for that moment of grace. It gives you inspiration to continue, but accept what comes. And if your mind comes and brings up stuff, then don't try to suppress it again in the subconscious, and don't try to fight it again, and don't feel so bad about it, but okay, let it come. So what if it's not pleasant? What does it matter? It's simply in our mind we have that fixation, it should not be unpleasant. But if unpleasant stuff comes up in our psyche, then let it be there. And then sometimes you may completely lose and forget about it, and then after 10 minutes you become aware,
yeah.
haven't had a moment of conscious, so what? At that moment, instead of starting to berate yourself and say, oh, it's terrible, the moment you become aware, you just turn your attention 180 degrees. And you come back and relax. As good as you can. Yes?
To put it simple, every resistance is coming from the ego. Every tension is the result of resistance.
Yes, you can say. No, I mean, we're creating tensions in different ways. In a lot is resistance, a lot is also we have contradictory tendencies simultaneously. I want to go left, I want to go right simultaneously. There's something there, part of me, I want it, no, I don't want it, I want it, I don't want it. This is how the mind is functioning. Monkey. But a lot of the pain that we are creating is just resisting to the fact of the experience. Instead of accepting the experience as it is and deal with it. Accepting the experience does not mean weakness. Not like as a victim. Okay, it as it is, I cannot do anything. No, accepting that the experience is there and then deal with it as creatively as you can. We have usually in our mind our whole list of things that we like and our whole list of things that we don't like. And of course we wanted the things to come that we like, and we struggle that they should come, and we are miserable if they don't come. And if they are there, then we don't want to let them go, and just go in spite of that. And then we are miserable again. We have this whole list of things we don't want to come, and they come in spite of that. Then we are miserable again. And then we want to get rid of them as quickly as we can, and the more we struggle with it, the more we contribute that they don't go so quickly. And then we are miserable again. Somehow, all that resistance makes us miserable. Instead of learning to just accept. I mean, you can always bring your creativity, your beauty into the current. But you can accept what comes, in spite of your input. And deal with it, and let it go as it goes. And then, even if it changes from the pleasant experience to the unpleasant experience, it doesn't make you unhappy. It's not that the unpleasant experience makes us unhappy, but we think, no, why me again? Poor me. And there we build it up, and it's getting worse. But instead of that, we can get to that broad-heartedness to accept, okay, it's coming, deal with it, and it's going. The pleasant and the unpleasant. And then the past is past, it's gone, and every moment you are again new and beautiful and fresh.
Sometimes I'm beginner with meditation, but sometimes when I meditate, I'm not sure if, like I'm just like still, and I don't know if something is happening. It's nice. I like to just sit and do nothing.
Stay in that stillness, but be aware that you're not sort of starting to close down in it and just dream away. Because after some time trying meditate, it may become quite pleasant to sit, and then a pleasant feeling is there, and then we get up and think, oh, I had a very good meditation, but we can just a bit float in a mental space. Have something to remind you to be sharp, to be alert, but then not create a new tension with it. Be still and relax in it. Relax, relax, relax. Have a deeper into it.
So it's not like I would ask myself questions or something, like, go into this process of
No, it's not that you have to go and dig for the dirt and then it's a jungle, it's endless, you can go on forever. You just bring your attention back to that peace and harmony in yourself as good as you can. And then that which comes and disturbs you, you have to somehow take care of that. Sometimes issues may come you cannot simply drop. If you can simply drop them, drop them. But if it comes insistent, then you may accept, okay, for some time now, instead of being peaceful and quiet, I let the issue really come up and try not to get completely lost in it, but at the same time see what it is doing to you now, how it is influencing your experience, how your body is getting tense again, how energetically you are reacting. And then learn to relax, learn to let go. And then the power that is in that stuff may slowly dissipate and it may disturb us less and less, and finally it's just a story.
One more question. I'm in a process of trying to ignore, thoughts and many things. Is there a certain emotions, or let's say when you do meditate, pleasant feeling comes, those things. I don't know the question. For Buddhists, that they are big into cultivating compassions, things like that. Do we go with that kind of attitude, or just, when we ignore many thoughts or feelings, do we have to include? Should we include certain artificial happiness, or which one to grab, which one to
grab, which one to let go?
Do we let it go, everything?
Do we have?
Which one to grab, which one to let it go? Yeah.
Which one are the holy feelings and which one are the unholy feelings?
Right. Holy feelings, should we grab that or let it go too?
Emotions are emotions. They come, they have a peak, they go. So you let them come and go as they come and go. Now, you mentioned compassion. Compassion is not really an emotion. We can be very emotional about being compassionate and make a big fuss and show about it. But the more you're at ease, at peace, at harmony with yourself, the less you feel separate. The more you become aware, you're connected with everything, and then compassion is simply natural. It's not an emotion. It's simply an awareness of being connected. And then you feel connected. You need not artificially create compassion and go out and do good things. If you feel that's what you have to do, by all means do. But it's not that which matters. It's simply you feel the pain of living beings because you are not separate from it. And by connecting, it's already totally a compassionate act. And sometimes you may feel you act upon it, sometimes you may not feel that you act upon it. But just the fact that you connect is doing something to that suffering being, even if they are not aware of it. So it's not that you have to now be alert and wait which emotions that come I have to grab.
Okay, so let's say we go through daily life.
Yes.
In the morning, many of us feel happy.
Yes.
Going to ashram. Do we emphasize on that, or we just watch that emotion too, let it go? What other emotions? Those a so-called happiness, joy comes in, but we focus on little more, or just watch, any other emotions coming.
We can create joyous emotions, but that joyousness of existence is prior to the emotion. It's not an emotion. Actually, it's all the time there. Simply, we are most of the time not aware of it because we create too much tension in our experience.
But that joy, people, emotion you're talking about, then do we put a little bit more energy into it and we can keep going?
You don't have to put energy into it. You have to stop putting energy into preventing it. let that fountain of existence simply bubble up all by itself. You don't have to somehow feed energy into it. It's already the source of energy.
But we can do even vice versa. I'm talking about, okay, I try to minimize putting focus on this I,
Yes,
including thoughts, feeling, emotions.
yes.
But there are amazing feelings coming sometimes,
Right.
joy. Then what I do with this? Do I treat that joyness like other emotions? Just watch? Or
Just be with the joy and relax.
when joyness comes?
Yes. Just be with the joy and relax. And wait and see what happens. Where it's bringing you. The joyousness is an aspect of that awareness. It's not that either the awareness or the joyousness. It's traditions, they tell us that you can come to a state of eternal bliss. And people have continuously misunderstood that they imagine that eventually you are in a state of a perpetual ecstasy. But ecstasy is also an experience. It comes, it has a peak, it goes. Nothing wrong with that. Let the ecstasy come, let it go. But what they are talking about is not that you are eventually in a perpetual jumping ecstasy. There is something else which I would call a peaceful joyousness. And this is not something created. It's not dependent on circumstances. It's simply an aspect of existence. So it's not separate from that consciousness you're talking about. So actually, then it's not the question whether you should shift now to consciousness or to joyousness when you are aware of the joyousness. Just be with the joyousness consciously. And there you are in consciousness. And that doesn't take something away from that experience of joyousness.
When sadness comes, just watch.
When sadness comes, then you just watch. Don't resist and don't think, oh, poor little me. But you just watch that sadness.
So
And
when-
if you don't resist, it's not a terrible feeling. Then it's not a terrible experience. If we don't fight with sadness and that emotion comes, actually, just because we don't fight it, we are already acting against the usual reaction of the me, ego personality. Because me, ego, I don't want to be sad and I want to fight it. Accepting it, then suddenly that sadness can open up to become extremely beautiful and expansive. Like a sky in the winter night. Joyousness is not an emotion. We can create all kinds of joyous emotions that come and go, but it's not that we have to somehow grab that joyousness and make it bigger. Just be with it and relax. And so you learn to create less and less obstacles to that joyousness of existence.